Hello and welcome back to Anime Homeschool Window Seat. I'm your host, Morph. My pronouns are they and them, your resident Shounen enthusiast and Death Note despiser. Joining me this week, as always, are my co-hosts.
Hey, Bash here, pronouns he, they. As you know, local boys love enthusiast and your resident Attack on Titan hater.
And I, Podunk Diogenes, he, him, who absolutely adores sad girls in anime and absolutely despises K-On!
Which, as we will continue to call you, PD or Po. What have y'all been watching this week?
I started up the newest season of Made in Abyss, and then also have been slowly working my way through showing Tony Fairy Tale.
How is Made in Abyss? That's a series that's like, in theory, I should have started watching as soon as episode 1 dropped, but like it's for some reason escaped me.
Torture. It hurts.
I see.
It's not shying away from its fucking sad shit and its pain that it wants to inflict. It's going right into it.
More of the same, I see.
Yeah. No, it's just more of the same. But it's good. But goddamn.
Yeah, I haven't started watching Made in Abyss yet, just because, like, I don't know, I have this hang up with anime that is really good as a 12 episode or short run series that like is in the top 15 or top 20 of all anime of all time, in my personal opinion, and then it gets a continuation and I'm like, great. I don't know. It's why I'm not particularly looking forward to Mob Psycho season 3 either, even if it's great. Like season 2, like, I've read the manga, so I know what happens in Made in Abyss Season 2, and as long as they adapt it as well as they adapted the first part, it'll be fantastic. If they adapt it as well as they adapted the movie, it'll be mediocre. But, like,
I haven't read the manga yet, so I can't really give you, like, an exact, like, how well it's done. I might dip into it because I do want to start reading like another long manga series again that's not boys love for once. But like,
should read Hellsing.
I've been wanting to even watch that, honestly, because I'm like, it's an old anime that I haven't ever seen or really interacted with, but I know a lot of people that like it. If you say that it's better to read, then I'll read it instead.
It's definitely, I don't know.
I've only ever seen the abridged series for that.
Yeah, because you're a degenerate. Yeah. Both adaptations leave a lot to be desired. The original adaptation, I personally find the original adaptation to be the more enjoyable adaptation, but it is definitely not better quality-wise. Hellsing Ultimate is definitely the better of the two adaptations as far as like quality, structure, animation quality, etc. It's not quite the Brotherhood treatment in the same way. Like, it's not the Brotherhood treatment. It's not like how Brotherhood is just like the exact same story again, but then different after a point. It is.
Is it the like JoJo's 3 situation where
it's more like Hunter x Hunter, where they had the OVAs in the 90s, and then they just like later were like, and now that there's enough manga out that we can actually do the whole thing, we're just gonna do the whole thing, except if in Hunter x Hunter they skipped to after where the OVAs left off and just did like a recap episode. Like, that's basically what Ultimate is. It's like, well, now that we've got enough material to actually do a full anime with, we're going to do a full anime, but we assume everyone's seen Hellsing, so here's a recap of what Hellsing was, and now into Ultimate. And so because most of the enjoyable parts, in my personal opinion, are those, like, is that opening arc with Sarah and everything, I just think it's...
Which is weird, because, so that's kind of unique, because all the ones I know that have, like, OVAs in the 90s, they just, like, redo what they did before. Like, so, like, Stardust Crusaders had an OVA in the 90s, the third arc of JoJo, and then they just, redid it when they got to it when they did the new series.
Yeah, it's the same is also true of Hunter x Hunter, and you could argue that that's also what Brotherhood did, even though I think that the original Full Metal is just a better show all around in every way, by actually being able to be a true adaptation of a material instead of just a direct translation of the page to screen. Um, and I know that that's a hot take, and I know we're rage
We'll
in the
get to
comments,
it.
which I'll turn off. Um, but like I think that the anime are not as good as the manga in either case. It's a better Hellsing is one where I would say it's better to read it.
Hmm.
Um, and I own all of it. If you want to borrow it, I own the whole series.
Oh,
In
sick.
omnibus format, so it's even easier to like lend out.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um,
As far as what I've been watching this week, I kind of hinted towards it, and by hinted I mean accidentally talked about it. I've been rewatching JoJo this
Oh
past week,
God.
or at least arc 1 and 2. I
Ugh.
didn't want to start arc 3 because based on how late in the week it was, I was like, I'm not going to be able to finish this in like a time that's going to feel great. It's just going to be one of those things where it's like, if I start this, it'll just be on my back burner for ages. So I'm just going to leave it at finishing arc 1 and 2 because it's a nice clean 24 episodes.
Mm.
Versus arc 3 is like 48 episodes entirely. I think they're like pre-Egypt is 24, and then while they're in Egypt it's 24.
I don't remember. But that sounds right.
yeah, I don't know enough about JoJo's. I've always been more interested in the first two arcs than the sunshine up your ass kung fu than the
The
which
ghost.
than the ghost that fight
Stands.
the ghost Pokemon. I've been watching A Sister Is All You Need, which is a slice of life pseudo harem pseudo rom-com show about a high school boy with a sister complex has a stepsister whose father is the boy's stepfather, and knowing that his new stepson has a sister complex has made his daughter pretend to be a boy. So the main character believes that he has a younger brother and not a younger sister, and it's basically like it is a will they won't they in a very weird way of like, especially as like a queer westerner watching this show, it's like, will she come out as a boy, will he come out as gay, will they realize that a brother is all you need, will she be a girl and they just start dating as siblings, or will he just end up dating someone who is willing to do sister role play. Like it's very
So wait up. I may have misheard you from earlier, but based on these like the light novel covers, who's doing what now? Because like I'm looking at it, just looks like a girl trying to take her brother's pants off.
it's called A Sister Is All You Need.
Yeah, I'm looking
And
at the cover for
the
it.
the stepfather of the boy has a daughter who is the boy's stepsister.
Mm-hmm.
The stepfather knows that his new stepson has a sister complex, and so has made his daughter pretend to be a boy. So she dresses like a boy, acts like a boy, and like, so as far as the main character is aware, he has a little brother.
Weird.
Obviously, the will they won't they tension is, will he find out that his little brother is actually the little sister he's always wanted all along?
Which is weird, because I'm looking at the cover to this manga, or to this light novel, and some of the images, and there's, like, no evidence of anyone, like, cross-dressing at all. Like, it just looks like...
because it's targeted at heterosexual people who are into sisters. Like, that's what the manga is about.
Well, no, but, like, there's no two boys on this cover. It's just a boy and three girls.
Yes, because they're, like, as far as the manga, the light novel and the anime are concerned, as far as they're concerned, there is only one boy. But, like, because they don't consider whether or not they don't consider the creator of the light novel and the show itself does not consider the fact that maybe this girl who is dressing like a boy might actually be a boy. They're like, no, it's just a quirky thing that she's doing right now because she doesn't want her brother to be sexually attracted to her.
What color?
It's just like Hayasaka dressing like a boy. It's just like Yuzuru from A Silent Voice dressing like a boy. All of which are incredibly transcoded characters, at least from a Western audience perspective. But the anime itself is like, no, this is just a girl. What do you mean? Girls just wear boys' clothes sometimes.
Real quick question. What color's the color of the hair of the person pretending to be a boy?
I don't know why you're... I think it's black, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm remembering correctly.
I don't... If is it dark brown?
It might be dark brown.
Well,
I mean, I did say that the main
at...
character of Hyoka's hair was black, and his hair is actually dark brown, so you know that I'm not the best with this.
Well, because, like, I'm looking at it, and, like, the predominant character I'm seeing in all the images I'm looking through is this silver hair girl who's just a girl throughout, seemingly. Like, doesn't seem to be hiding anything. Did you get it reversed on accident? Is the sister the one that has the brother complex, and so, like, the boy's pretending to be a girl? What's happening here? I can't... Why is this anime being confusing?
Or is it the orange-haired character with the glasses?
Well, time to go to my anime list real quick, see if they can clarify this.
Okay, I'm on the light novel. It's the one with the brown hair. That is the sister who is the brother, and those are the clothes the light novel cover for the first episode, like, those are quote-unquote boys' clothes according to the show. Like, the sweater and the jeans. Like, that's...
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
I've also, apparently...
Chihiro is the character's name. Now, like... And so, like, she is pretending to be a he so that her brother will not be attracted to her. But she's very much... Like, it's heavily implied that she would not be opposed to the idea of her brother actually being into her. Like,
ironically, based on all the images I'm looking at, it looks like main girl, according to at least people who put images on Google, the main girl's the silver hair girl.
Probably. Like,
is she the sad loser by default?
I mean, I imagine this is going to be an Ore Emo situation. You know, My Little Sister Can't Possibly Be This Cute is the full name of that show. The full name of Ore Emo. Where, like, everyone thought it was just a parody of incest, and then it ended up just going the full incest route at the end. And so, like, so everyone was like, main girl is obviously this one. And then it was like, no, it was the sister, you fucking idiots. I feel like that might be the situation here, where it's like, clearly, no, like, the brother and the sister don't want this, except they do want this. They absolutely do.
Well, they do it because the audience wants
it. A filthy Shotokan brocon is like, but what if the sister is actually a brother, but for real?
Oh, for realsies.
For realsies.
Like, what if it isn't just a bit? What if it's actually that she's trans and a brother is all you need is the actual title, the secret title of this anime. Secret good yaoi version of this light novel.
Right now, I'm looking at, apparently the third volume of the light novel is just like,
I'm looking
Victorian
at this
style
like,
blonde hair girl
this...
sits on main boy. Yeah, that's an archetype they like using, huh?
I would absolutely call this character's hair black just as a passing glance, even though it's obviously brown. I mean, like I said, I did the same thing with Hyoka.
Right. You know what? I just kind of realized the weird thing is that so far, granted, I've only seen, or I've only at least seen or heard of 2 shows that have, like, the whole step-sibling relationship thing. Now, granted, it's because I don't tend to, like,
delve you were talking too far about down. One of them last week, which is, like, what is it? My stepsister is my ex or whatever?
Well, yeah. Well, because it's my stepmom's daughter is my ex. But, why don't, like, they really just like making step-siblings just have, like, the same color hair, just so that you can cross your eyes hard enough, be like, yeah, they were true siblings the whole time.
Well, they're step-siblings in No Game, No Life, and they don't look anything alike. We're not related by blood.
Not related by blood. It's weird when they want to make it... You know what? I wonder if that's the key difference, where it's like, when the show wants to make the not related by blood comment, then they make the hair different. But when the show wants to be about how they're developing a relationship as siblings, they make the hair the same.
Well, I mean, in Ore Imo, like, the hair is different, so maybe you're right. That might be, like, the observation of the century there, is that, like, you can tell if a show about siblings in a romantic situation are going to get together based on whether or not the hair is different. So maybe in A Sister Is All You Need, because the hair is the same, they're not going to end up together. But, like, I ship the siblings, so I'm personally hoping that the siblings end up together. So that's all that I think that we've thoroughly covered what we've been watching this week. So now we can move on to news. And Bash, good news for you. The show that absolutely refuses to die, where its manga ended 2 years ago, but its anime is now in the 5th part of the final part of its final season. So, like, it just absolutely continues to refuse to go away, even on the anime front, is now getting your favorite thing, a musical adaptation.
Oh,
Attack on Titan is now
joy.
coming to the stage.
Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful thing. God, I hate it so much.
You know what, ironically, I feel like the only way you can make kind of like an Attack on Titan stage play work, which, on the one hand, it would be kind of neat seeing, like, giant heads, like, stage production, like, props. But on the other hand, what if they just did the thing that we kind of maybe used to do, I say hopefully in the some far off past, where you just be like, this story we're about to tell you in musical format is set in the world of this one thing. However, we are not telling that story. This is something else. And
based on what I'm reading on ANN, it definitely seems like they're just redoing, like, the first Walmaria arc and everything.
Yeah,
just
it's the safer bet, because it's the content people want to see.
Which, like, I miss when, like, the Walmaria arc was, like, the only thing that existed of Attack on Titan before we knew that the creator was, like, an avowed Japanese imperialist who thinks the Nazis did nothing wrong, who, like, where, like, the show is just, where, like, the show is just obviously fascist propaganda, and, like, you have the fans who, like, the fans of modern Attack on Titan split basically into 4 categories. People who are completely ignorant of the fact that it's fascist. People who are ignorant of the fact that it's fascist and will violently reject any suggestion to the contrary. People who are aware of the fact that it's fascist but think that it's okay because it's fine. And then people who are aware of the fact that it's fascist but they think that it's anti-fascist. Like, the depiction of fascism is there because it's an anti-fascist production. So, like, there's like 4 levels of copium that people go through, where, like, you start ignorant, and that's where everyone was back in the beginning when, you know, it was Walmaria, I'm gonna kill all the Titans, biting his hand and everything. Like, that's where we all started. And then, like, there's almost no excuse to be in the first category anymore unless you are, like, 12 and have just onboarded. Like, if you are 16 or older and are online at all, there is no excuse to not be aware of the blatant fascism in this anime and manga.
There could be, like, the people who, like, because it might be the same people who, like, ended up watching Demon Slayer, but, like, I'm guessing that Attack on Titan, when it came out, had enough broad media appeal here in the West where people who don't watch anime ended up watching Attack on Titan Season 1 because it was just, like, the biggest, you know, the big hit, the big one for, like, a while.
No, I didn't say people who watch it. I said fans.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I specifically said fans of Attack on Titan fall into these 4 camps.
Well, I guess we're defining fans as people who participate in fandom.
No, I'm defining fans as people who have continued to watch the show even though it's in the 5th part of its final season. The 5th part of the final part of its final season. Like, it, like, you know, like, we are literally in Attack on Titan final season, final part 5. Like, that's where we are right now. Like, and the fact that people are still watching that means that they are fans of the show and they want to see how it ends. That is a fan. People who watched the show for the first half, like the first season, and bounced off might have been fans back then, but aren't fans anymore. People that watched and were like, oh, this is a cool show, and then didn't come back because it was gone for 5.5 years, those aren't fans. People that onboarded when seasons 2 and 3 came out, but then after 11 parts of the final season were like, I am not going to keep watching this. This is ridiculous. Those also aren't fans. Like, the fact that Attack on Titan is doing a Homestuck, like, that's the reason why I'm saying there is a distinction between people who are watchers and people who are fans. And as a fan of Attack on Titan, you fall into 4 camps. Ignorant and violently opposed to anyone opening your eyes to the truth. Aware of the truth, but violently opposed to the fact that that means anything. Or aware of the truth and huffing large amounts of copium. That, like, no, actually, it's fine because it's anti-fascist. The fact that it's fascist means it's anti-fascist. So, like, those are the 4 categories.
There
because
could be the
once
hidden
you
fifth.
fall into the 5th category, which is it's fascist because it's fascist, you aren't a fan anymore. Like, you stop being a fan because you cannot actually be a fan of this show while acknowledging that it's fascist. You can enjoy it, but you're not really a fan of it anymore.
I mean, then there's Group 5 subsection B, which is, I enjoy it, I recognize it's fascist, and it has, and it has problems because of that. But then subsection B goes, but I like the fact that it's fascist.
Oh, God.
Oh, those are just Nazis. Like, they don't like anything with fascist imagery.
Unfortunately,
like, you can claim that I would argue that those fall into Group 3, which is it's fascist, and I'll violently oppose you saying that's a bad thing.
Fair enough.
Like, that's Group 3.
But yeah, there is
the
5th healthy section where it's just like, you recognize it has problems, but you still watch it because you enjoy the medium, and I'm not gonna be one to tell you what you
which is fine. I'm not gonna tell you that you're a terrible person. As long as you recognize that it has problems,
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you're the worst person ever. It's when people blatantly tell you, like, look at all of the problems this has, and you have to come up with, like, 17 different excuses for why those problems are there, instead of just going, yeah, it's got problems, but I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, at least that has a degree of honesty to it. Or, yeah, it has problems, but I still like it, but I acknowledge those problems suck. Like, those 2 categories I have far more respect for than, nuh-uh! But it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
in
it's
other
now
anime
getting a stage musical.
Yeah. In other anime news, Demon School Iruma-kun's getting a 3rd season, which I'm kind of happy for, because, like, I think it's just a nice, quaint little show. A little fun characters. I think y'all will enjoy it. The boy goes through an evil cycle that makes him a bad boy, unironically, and it's actually kind of a fun little arc.
So you just become Shadow the Hedgehog?
No, what it is that, like, so Iruma is a kid who is very popular, but he's a very soft boy. He has parental trauma that makes him impossible to say no to things, so he ends up being, like, just, whether he wants to or not, very helpful to him and the people around him. But when he goes through his demon cycle, he just gets a whole bunch of, like, self-confidence he doesn't really have, and he just becomes, like, a boy who knows his self-worth and just can do things because he knows his self-worth. It's a fun little arc, because the arc where he's going through that, he's trying to get his class upgraded to, like, the finest classroom on campus that hasn't been touched because the last and currently missing Demon King was taught there. I mean, it's a Magic Academy school, but it's a fun show despite it being in a Magic Academy. It's fine. There's a boy who loses to him in the first day and kind of becomes his, like, manservant in, like, a gay way. It's nice. It's nice.
You just had to say it was gay. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, that's a good selling point. Okay.
I think we had one more piece of anime news we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about the show itself other than what I've seen around, but the Ancient Magnus Bride is also getting a 3rd season in roughly about a year. Actually, a couple months only.
I think it's getting a 2nd season,
Second season, sorry, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been on my watch list, but, like, I don't know. I'm, like, hesitant about it, but, like, it seems to be, like, a type of show that I would enjoy.
It was.
I mean,
one
it's
of
a
those
monster
shows.
fucker. It's a monster
Exactly.
fucker anime.
It's
So
a monster
like, you're gonna
fucker
like
anime,
it.
and then also the fact that, like, it's the whole, like, Beauty and the Beast trope where, you know, girl gets rescued by powerful ancient demon thing.
Rescued, air quotes.
Air quotes, yeah.
Purchased as slave.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you liked Black Butler, right? Because it was a monster fucker anime.
It's such a shame because Magnus Archives, not Magnus Archive, that's something completely different. The Magnus Bride.
I think it's Magus or Magus, not Magnus.
Magus, the Magus
Maybe.
Bride.
I'm not sure.
Anyways, I think we can move on to our main topic, which for this week, week 3 of our podcast, is a show that all 3 of us have watched, although I haven't finished it. I only made it halfway through one of the arcs, is Hunter x Hunter, or, if you're spicy, Hunter x Hunter, because, as we all know, the show is actually a massive documentary on how Gon and Killua, who are both hunters, should kiss, and so therefore the show's title is actually their ship name.
Hunter kiss Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter
Yeah,
Hunter should
absolutely.
kiss. Hunter x Hunter.
Kiss X sis.
Oh, God.
So I was showed this by PD here, and it had always been on my radar. I think I'd even seen some of the original 90s OVA at one point, and then
I think I lured you in with Killua. Because Killua gets parts of the show where they get anthropomorphized into a little cat boy.
no,
but ironically,
that wasn't what brought me in.
Kurapika.
You lured me in with shirtless Killua because I am an unironic and unabashed Shotokan, but like, and that's what brought me in. And everyone thought that Killua was going to be my favorite character. The problem is that Killua is not sad in any way whatsoever. Like the first season, like I have a lot of theories, and we'll get into this later, but like, based on how this anime was written and structured and how long it's taken for parts of this to come out, it began publication, I believe, in 1997, and its final issue until recently, new screenshots from a friend of the mangaka makes it look like there are new issues finally being worked on 10 and a half years later, came out in 2011. So that is a 15-year period to be working on an anime, give or take, margin of error of 1 year because I'm bad at math. And so like 15 years is a long time to like change the direction of where you're going with a series that you're working on, and just based on stuff that happens in the first 2 arcs versus stuff that happens later when things actually start being like the term that means exposited on. So when the world building actually starts being exposited to the main characters, you can tell that things have changed. So like, for example, the biggest example is that during the Hunter exam, Killua is forced to fail by his brother, Illumi. Illumi never acts like that again for the remainder of the series. Not even remotely close to that. The closest you could come to like saying that he acts like that is if you as a Westerner believe that Killua's sister is a sister, and the fact that Illumi doesn't treat her as such. But if you believe that it's more like what the actual literal physical text of the show says, which is that she has been possessed by a female demon but is still their younger brother biologically, then it would make sense for someone to resent the new personality that has taken hold of this person that they love. So like, depending on your view, especially as, you know, with gender and like as a Western viewer versus a Japanese viewer, you can look at how both Killua and Illumi react to this character very differently. So like, Illumi does not act the way he acts during the Hunter exam ever again. So like, and we're led to believe that Killua is being like majorly abused by his family, and that like the reason why he is the way he is and why he's run away to get a hunter's license is so that he can have the ability to go wherever he wants. He's the first of his kin to ever get a hunter's license. There's like all of this setup to be like, he does not want to be part of the Zoldyck family. He does not want to be a Zoldyck assassin. He wants to get away from his abusive family. And then it changes, and it turns out the Zoldicks are actually great. They're all a bunch of laughable, lovable idiots, and they torture each other for fun, and everyone's okay with it. Killua can actually get out of his torture bonds whenever he wants to, it turns out. He's just subjecting himself to it because it makes him stronger, and he wants to be tortured.
Or
that's a literal thing that actually is told to us and shown to us.
To be more specific... He's shown, he's like, I'm letting you vent off steam, brother, because it seems like you need to vent off steam about this, but I'm so strong that it didn't really do much to me, so goodbye.
Right, but there's also a moment where he is in chains, and, like, he's, like, getting the crap kicked out of him in the Zoldyck household, and then, like, his brother is, like on the ground, and, like, Roger Rabbit style, his hand comes down and, like, pats his brother on the head, and then he puts his hand back into the chains, and it's like... So he can just do that. He can just leave whenever he wants. And it's established that he's doing this because he wants to. He's doing this because he wants to be here. And so, like, the entire established character motivation for Killua as, like, the emo, edgy, sad boy with a bad family with abandonment issues, and that would be the reason why he's, like, a puppy dog to Gon, who is, like, the only person who's ever shown him genuine affection and, like, unrequited affection that's unnecessary to be, like, reciprocated, is completely thrown out the window. Like, it's gone. Which is why then Kurapika takes over as my favorite character, because Kurapika's backstory is never undone. He is the last survivor of his clan. He has a feature that is hunted after by, like, you know, rich collectors, and he goes out of his way to put a dagger inside of his own heart that will kill him if he ever stops hunting another man, and then puts his own dagger inside that man's heart. So, like, it's very homoerotic, and he's also, you know, he, like, Kurapika's only 16, so he's on the cusp of being a Shota.
Describing scenarios, by the way.
And he's also a femboy. So, like Kurapika is my favorite, because he's actually the angsty emo edgelord that I was sold on Killua being, but then Killua... Just like how, you know, Hisoka never turns anyone's arms into, you know, flower petals ever again, Killua is never an angsty edgelord ever again. So, that, like, that's why Killua didn't become my favorite. But, so I was lured in with Killua and then hot swapped to Kurapika, and that's what got me into Hunter x Hunter. But, Hunter x Hunter, both of you saw it before I did. What were your thoughts back when it was originally coming out?
For me, it was just, this is fine. This is a nice, fun time. I like all these boys. These are some good boys right here. We got the word on the street boy. We got the goodest boy. We have the goodest but angry boy, and then 5 meters of trench in a 2 meter trench coat boy, and then And then we get to the Chimera Antarch, and everything just kind of, like, starts collapsing on itself for a while. It's like, oh god, we're still here. And then afterwards, it's like, oh, hey, it's some fun stuff again. Luero gets a punch going, stupid dad. Yeah, get fucked.
That was a beautiful moment. God, that was such a beautiful moment.
The fact that I think he still loses the election, but the fact that he almost wins that election arc because he punches Gon's dad is hilarious.
It's beautiful.
With Jin, right?
Yeah,
Ging.
Ging, whatever the fuck his asshole's name is.
That reminds me that the mangaka put a self-insert character into the Greed Island arc. The person who's there to greet Gon after he completes the game, who lives in his own trash, that is just the Hunter x Hunter mangaka. Based on pictures that we have of him.
I think my favorite arc is York New City. I think your favorite arc, PD, is Greed Island, right?
Greed Island's great. It has Beatrice. Beatrice, is that the name of the mentor? She's great.
Is that what they call her? I don't think it's Beatrice. It's
Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Biscuit Kruger. I forgot her name was Biscuit.
So Biscuit Kruger's great, but I also really do like the characters in the York New City arc, because that's also when we get introduced to, like, the main cast of the main group, or really kind of get introduced to the characters of the spiders. We actually get to like see them.
Oh
and
yeah,
whatnot,
the
and not just
Phantom
hear about
Troop.
them.
That okay, so
Yeah,
that's when they
Phaeton
come
and
up.
Crollo.
I love that.
I
too.
really like Uvogene and the samurai. They're great.
Of course you do, because they're big stupid idiots. But,
Yeah, they're big stupid idiots that have fun together, and the fact that the samurai boy is immediately trying to cope with the loss of his best friend by replacing him with somebody who acts similar. Is
God,
sad.
no wonder you liked Akudama so much. Phaeton and Crollo, I think, are my two
Hell
favorite
yeah.
of the Phantom Troop.
Hell yeah.
Which one's
and
Crollo?
of
Is
course-
Crollo the mind control?
Crollo's the
phone?
leader.
leader.
Crollo's the leader.
Oh, right.
I didn't think I was going to like Crollo when he was first introduced, and he looked like Jared Leto's Joker. And he looked like Jared Leto's Joker mixed with like Marilyn Manson Jesus. But then like he let his hair down, and I was like, oh, he's hot. Oh fuck, he's hot.
Yeah.
He has a real fun fight scene with the Zoldyx. The Zoldyx.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
It's also
I think
like it's a fun.
it's Illumine and the dad, right?
No.
Those two.
It's the granddad and the dad.
the granddad and
Illumi
the
is
dad.
doing a side job on behest of Crollo, which causes the end of the fight. Because, like, well, our employers died, so I guess we don't have a job anymore. We're done here. Let's go. And they just
and then
leave.
Crollo's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Plan work. Good job,
Kurapika
me.
and Crollo, Kurapika, Crollo, and Phaeton are like, that is an OT3 that I love, because I love the idea of like corruption, and also like Kurapika being in a relationship with these two people that he despises. Like, it's fantastic.
Oh, but Melody, they're great. They're fantastic.
But top tier Hisoka, Illumi, and Crollo, excuse me.
No.
Yes.
Hisoka and Gon, obviously.
I mean,
I do.
I'm not gonna say no to that either, but
I do like the Greed Island arc because it actually
I
has
have
Ahsoka helping out too.
I have two sets of OT3s, and both of them involve shipping people with people who kill each other. Like, I have Gon, Neferpitu, and Killua, and I've got Crollo, Phaeton, and Kurapika. And so it's like, I am drawn to conflict. Like, I don't want I don't want characters that are nice to each other and bring out each other's better halves like Melody, and that's boring. You're boring. That's why you like Kuderes. Or sorry, Genki-Deres. That's why you like Genki-Deres. That's why I'm the one with like the
Genki-Dere?
How are you the co-host of an anime podcast and you don't know what a Genki-Dere is?
I'll be honest, a bag flew over my head one day, and
It's like the happy girl.
Oh. How about we establish I like them sad? Although granted,
Because most Genki-Deres are actually secretly sad.
yeah, they hide their sad behind their happy, the fake happy.
They're usually like the sporty girl who like is very happy. They're the Minarines from Toradora. That is the archetype. Like it's very much like
But back to Hunter x Hunter.
Back to Hunter x Hunter.
It's rough because like there's parts in each arc that I really like. In the Greed Island arc, I really like Hisoka's fight, like volleyball fight with everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's Hisoka not just being a straight antagonist, but being like a helpful antagonist.
Doesn't Gon like lose a hand in that fight?
I think Killua was the one who's like losing the skin on his hands because he's using as little nen as possible to hold the ball so Gon can super punch it. Oh, in that
it's
arc
not that
he does.
He's losing the skin on his hand. His hands are getting like fucked beyond repair. Like every time Gon hits it, the shockwave are like shattering the bones in his hand. But I'm pretty sure when Gon intercepts, like he receives a pass from the opposing team or a spike, and I think he loses a hand. I'm almost positive.
No, correct arc. He does lose a hand in this arc, but he loses a hand while fighting the bomber.
Oh.
He sacrifices a hand while fighting the bomber to maintain to get a good punch in later, because he doesn't want to necessarily commit to the trickery that they're about to do in order to beat the bomber. He still wants to punch him because he's a Goku character and he wants to, do the straightforward punch ideal. But he does lose a hand in that fight.
I see. Okay,
so that's why you might be getting mixed up. in the York New City fight, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of good singular elements. I'm not sure if there's like I guess if I would say a singular fight, it's just Kurapika versus Uvogene. Because it really just kind of like clarifies and further like explains how dedicated Kurapika is to the singular cause that he's taken up.
I mean, Kurapika versus Uvogene is what establishes Kurapika's actual power level, and I think it's probably one of the best fights in the show. But like, Kurapika versus Chrollo is also really good, but it's not really a fight. It's more of just like a sequence of events that happens that has some fighting involved, because like, it's mostly just Kurapika going, all right, and now I perform my alchemy and you have a dagger in your heart. Like,
Yeah.
Well, because it's like, because he manages to kidnap Chrollo.
Yes.
And, and do the whole setup to where they need to do a hostage exchange. The one thing that, and then like in the Chimera.
I'm going to have to edit that out.
Yeah, you're going to have to edit that out. Hilarious. So, and then in the Chimera Ant arc, the biggest, I think, moment for me, which is kind of a weird thing to say because it's like right at the very end. Like, there's individual characters I like in there. I like the chameleon ant. I also like the octopus ant. Because they're chimera ants that are like, I could be reasonable. Why don't we be friends, chum? Chum, pal, friend, buddy, pal, friend, chum. And then, but my big moment is at the very end where it's just Gon. Like, Gon has been propelled through this arc by the hope that capturing Neferpitou will save Kite, because currently Kite is being animated by Neferpitu's power, and is auto-attacking anything that gets near him. But like, once Gon finally gets Neferpitou there, he has to like confront the fact that it is his fault that Kite is dead, and Kite is gone forever. Like,
it's not his fault that Kite's dead.
No. Gon views it as his fault.
Okay, but the way that you phrased it is like, it is objectively Gon's fault. It's
apologies.
Like, Kite sacrifices himself so that the two of them can get away.
Yeah.
Like, don't cheapen Kite's sacrifice like that.
Well, yeah,
also, Kite x Neferpitou, hot shit right there. That's basically just what if Ritsuka and Sobi from Loveless, but even more fucked up.
God.
Like,
well, yeah. So like, it's just that moment where Gon is like, all of his hope collapses on his own, and he decides
he becomes a JoJo.
He does become a JoJo. He looks ridiculous, but it's thematically scary and like, oh fuck. And he's deciding to ruin himself into like sacrifice himself in order just to make Neferpitou gone. It's
which is a shame, because
oof.
Neferpitou is one of the best characters in Hunter x Hunter. I love him. And yes, I'm using he, him pronouns to refer to Neferpitou. And you can fight me in real life in a back alley with lead pipes about that. Like, let's go.
Lead pipes in this
me
economy.
IRL. 1v1 me IRL.
There's a whole bunch of, like, I will say,
that wasn't directed at PD, by the way. That was directed at any viewers who disagree with me.
The downside I think with Hunter x Hunter is that I can list all these great moments and whatnot, but they are kind of buried in like a 300 episode anime. And that's just kind of like the issue with ongoing shonens, is that like,
I mean,
there will be cool stuff. There's cool stuff scattered throughout it, but there is like a lot of stuff there to watch. And that can be a downside.
I kind of really just want to focus on when it comes to Hunter x Hunter. I know 47 minutes in, we're going. The main thing I want to focus on is just that, like, you can tell that this is a series that was written over the course of 15 years and that it started in the 90s.
Yeah.
Because the beginning of the show is it's very much like a Dragon Ball or a Toriko or a Yu Yu Hakusho, where it's these very special boys who are very special at martial arts and have no other call to fame other than the fact that they are like Bruce Lee meets Chuck Norris meets, like, I don't know, fucking Jackie Chan fused into the body of a child. And like, that is their claim to fame, and that is all they have. They're just really, really good at fighting. now they're going to go on a journey to find more people like them, either to fight or to make friends with, because they have outgrown the towns and home and the places that they called home for various reasons, and each person has a different reason for why they've outgrown the place they call home. Leorio wants to become a doctor, which he can't do in his hometown. Kurapika is the abandoned orphan of a dead tribe. Killua in the beginning is running away from an abusive family who wants him to pursue the family's career of being an assassin, and he doesn't want that. He wants to get his hunter license so he can be free to go wherever he wants to get away from them.
And he wants a friend.
And he wants friends, which he doesn't have. At first he doesn't know that he wants friends, but then he meets Gon and realizes, oh, I want to sit on this boy's face.
Don't want a friend.
And then he meets, and then you meet Gon, we meet Gon first, who is so good at everything that he's catching like the champion fish out of the river at age 10, which is something that his father didn't even manage to do until age 12. Like, the only person who has ever been comparable to him from this place is his own dad, who abandoned him as a baby. And like, he wants to go find his dad because, as far as he's aware, his dad is the only person who's comparable to him.
I think the one of the main reasons I think he gives early on is that like, I think he wanted to ask why, or he just kind of assumes that whatever he did was important. But I think he just wants to meet his dad because because he's his dad.
Because he's his dad. And that's why he knows what a hunter license is. And so he wants the hunter license to be able to go wherever in the world that he wants to find his dad. Like,
actually,
being able to basically unrestricted, freely travel wherever he wants to go to find his father.
Actually, I think that's slightly incorrect. I think he's specifically getting a hunter's license because his dad got a hunter's license at his age. And that's why he caught the fish, because the fish was a big hurdle that his mom was set up. Well, his adopted mom, his aunt, that his aunt had set up for him to be like, okay, this kid can't possibly catch this fish. This will keep him safe from going down the same path of his father. But then now he's 12 and does the same thing that his father did at age 12. Like, well, god damn it. I think he's 12.
I'm pretty sure he's 10.
It's hard to tell, and this might be hard to look up on the wiki because of how times work on wikis.
Yeah, because the time skips and stuff.
Yeah,
but like,
no
but I think
he's comparable.
Regardless, he does it before he does it at an age younger than his father did.
I think it's comparable because like his dad like did it at age 12, and so Gon was going to do it at age 12. Like,
because like he's more than I have, but I remember it being a whole thing where like it's like, oh my god, he beat his father. But like, anyways, so Gon is going on this journey because he wants to find his dad. B, he wants to prove that he's as good as his dad because his dad is the only person that's comparable to him. His dad is the only
he's just doing what his dad did at his age.
This backwater town. Like, this backwater town is no longer big enough to contain Gon.
No, it's not.
And so they all meet up on a boat.
Well, except for Killua. He's not there in the boat.
He's not on the boat? Okay,
no. It is just Kurapika and Leorio. Killua, he meets...
The three of them meet on a boat.
In the jog.
That's when I think, like, Kurapika and Leorio are confronted with the fact that Gon is a freak because he, like, fights a sea monster or some shit.
Well, no. What happens is that Leorio and Kurapika about to knife fight on the bridge of the boat because they keep insulting each other. Because Leorio is, he's like the streetwise kind of like goof. And Kurapika's the honor-bound type of person in the first arc. And so they're butting heads over each other. And then they decided to take it outside on the deck of this boat in the middle of a storm. And that's when Gon just kind of like, he's out there just watching this. But then like a crewmate is about to get like swept off the deck of the ship. And that's when Gon jumps with no like way of saving himself once he like grabs onto this boy, forcing Leorio and Kurapika to stop their fight and grab each of one of Gon's legs before he like plummets off the boat. Yeah.
Now I remember the two of them like holding Gon's legs. Gon is an idiot.
he's a good boy. He's the goodest of boys. Unfortunately, they made. Like,
what was your plan, Gon? Like
he said like he knew that they would do the right thing and catch him Because he's naive. He's the goodest of boys. Which I think is why the Chimera Ant arc really, like, the end of the Chimera Ant arc really, like, corrupts Gon. Because it's just like, oh, I can't be naive anymore. Everything is bad now.
The end of the Chimera Ant arc, which, like, from what you've told me, from what I've seen of it, because spoiler alert, that's the arc that I stopped in the middle of, because it's long as fuck. Mm-hmm. The Chimera Ant arc is as long as all of the episodes that, like, lead up to the Chimera Ant arc. I think it's like 68 episodes of that lead up to it or something like that. No, it's more than that. It's like 80 or so episodes of Hunter x Hunter. Between Greed Island, New York New, and the Hunter exam arcs. And then, like, Chimera Ant is 80 episodes in and of itself. And it's like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got, like, 27 to 30 episodes into it. Like, I got a good chunk into it, but, like...
Which is not even the part of the arc where, like, all right, it's time to take down these ants.
No, I didn't even make it to the part where, like,
it's
the adults from the Hunter Society die, which is a thing I know happens, but, like...
It's the part of the arc where Gon and Killua have to prove that they are strong enough to be there in the team of hunters going to stop the Chimera Ants. So they're fighting the apprentices of other notable hunters.
Yeah.
That's where you get the good boy, the good punk boy who, like, all the fucking stray dogs flock to him because he's just... Oh, he's, like, one of my, like, favorite anime archetypes where it's just, like, it's a punk, but, like, a punk with a heart of gold. Because, like, he keeps something, like, he's like, all right,
yes,
I'm just going to stand in the...
Joestars.
Yeah. I'm just going to stand in this park every night until you're, like, you know, just so you can fight me there. And the stray dogs keep, like, accumulating around him, and he keeps feeding them because he's a good boy, but he's also a punk ass.
It is hilarious how similar to Hunter x Hunter UQ Holder is, but, like, so you can tell that this series was written over the course of 15 years, like I said before, because, like, the first arc, it's like Toriko, it's like Dragon Ball. You've got these characters, they're going on a journey, they've outgrown their hometowns, they're going to find bigger and better things. The first thing they do is they have to find the place to take the test. Like, that's the first arc. And then they have to take the test. That's the second arc. And so, like, and that's the whole first season, is just that. And then Killua fails, which is, like, a really, really interesting thing because, like, you aside from Pokemon where Ash Ketchum never wins, you really don't see shonen protagonists or even deuteragonists fail that often, especially back then. Like, so the fact that Killua doesn't pass on his first try was really cool. But then you can tell pretty much immediately that between that arc and the next arc, that the direction for where this series was going has changed, because Hisoka was just a magic man who had magic kung fu, which meant he could turn people's arms into flower petals. But now Nen becomes a concept. So you have the Battle Tower arc, or whatever it's called, and
the one before, which was the Let's Go Grab Killua arc.
Right. So the Let's Go Grab Killua arc, but, like, Killua passes the Hunter exam basically off screen.
Yeah.
In the Greed Island arc.
Like, and so this is where, like, Nen is introduced, and in the Battle Tower arc or Tower Battle arc, I can never remember what.
It's the
and
Battle Tower. Yeah.
Heaven's Tower. It's Heaven's Tower.
It could be Heaven's Tower.
That's right.
It's something like that. I apologize, I'm not getting the words exactly right. But anyways, and that's where Nen is first introduced. And it is introduced, like, haphazardly. Like, it is very clear, like, this is a new concept that has just been created in order to give the characters a reason why they can't just super martial arts their way to the top of this tower. Like, it's like, because it feels like the creator accidentally wrote themselves into a corner where they have Batman and Superman's child. Like, they have Batman and Superman's love child, and then the child of Batman and Superman from another universe who are now best friends. And they're like, wait, now I need to actually give them a challenge. And, like, and it's not a challenge at first. Both Gon and Killua just fuck up everyone they're in the ring with without a contest.
Well, because, like, they're all Gon is just, like, pushing them using the technique he kind of, like, developed to open the big door to get to Killua's house. And Killua's just knocking people out to the, swift chops to the neck.
Yeah.
And So, like, it very much feels like the mangaka, like, I can't obviously attest that this is what happened. I don't know. But the mangaka was like, fuck, how do I prevent them from just, like, blasting through this tower? And was like,
I will say,
there is a thing that they don't have that is called Nen, and Nen is this, and Hisoka has it, and they don't, and they can't penetrate it because it's like spirit energy from Bleach. And the reason why I say that it's like that is because Bleach also started publication around this time. So, like...
I will say, the only hint that we kind of get in the show that Nen is a thing before this arc is the whole... And granted, this is a vague as hell thing that could mean almost anything. But we just get people at the end of the Hunter exam arc who are talking to themselves, and there's like, well, now time for the true exam to begin.
No, but that's in the anime.
Yeah.
Is that in the manga? Because I haven't read the manga, but since the anime came out 11 years after the manga was written and Nen had been introduced in the manga,
now,
it's entirely possible that they added that dialogue in. And I don't know, haven't read the manga, but I will
say, based on how the earlier parts of the exam arc are adapted, Hisoka still turns people's arms into flowers, so they weren't gonna try to retcon it there. So I doubt
But this is just adding dialogue.
Well, no, they never even mentioned the word Nen at that point. They just like the true exam has just begun. So it's just like that's the only indication we have, and it's just one that can mean anything.
And so like, and then we get introduced to what Nen is. And it's essentially spirit energy from Bleach, which is like if the gap between the spirit user and the person who has no spirit energy is great enough, essentially you'll just die. Like, it's not literally that, but like the person who has Nen, if you do not have the ability to create a Nen barrier to protect yourself from the other person's Nen, they can just kill you, and it will just happen.
It's closer to being like Super Saiyan in a way, where it's just like
I completely disagree.
Well, in the way that like being Super Saiyan means like the number go up is what it is, power number go up. And when a Super Saiyan person would punch a regular dude on the street, they would just die because power number go up.
It's far, far similar to spirit energy, which is like if you do not have the ability to construct defenses against Nen, then you just die. It's not a matter of like number go up. It is a matter of defenses, because that's the first thing they learn in that arc is how to create a defensive barrier so they can penetrate Hisoka's musk, because that he's just exuding purple musk that's preventing them from getting close. And he's intentionally only putting out a weak amount of musk because he doesn't want them to actually die, but he's intimidating them from moving any further because he wants to fight Gon. So he doesn't want Gon to go get killed, so he's intimidating them from moving further.
Well, like, I think the problem, like, he's still... you first,
Bash.
Bash. You're good. No. I just really... I think Gon and Hisoka is probably one of my favorite like protagonist-antagonist dynamics in anime. I'm gonna be entirely honest. I know a lot of people find it like super creepy and lecherous, and like yeah, the show does frame certain things like that, but like at the same time, it's the fact that like Hisoka is just so enamored and just so like fixated and fascinated by this child's already like ridiculously strong ability that it's basically driving him to create himself a even stronger opponent, which I think is really fun. And I love the shit that Hisoka does to push Gon further and like help him like progress, even though he is technically being an antagonist and standing in his way.
And it is grooming. Like the people who identify that there's something weird going on are right. It is grooming. It's just not necessarily sexual grooming, because it's Hisoka wants a challenge. No one except for possibly Crollo is on a level that can challenge Hisoka, and things are boring. Essentially, Hisoka is Saitama from One Punch Man, but if Saitama was the Joker. And so he is...
It's weird because it's like and like already say it's weird. and like the Heaven's Tower arc has a personal end to an arc with Gon, where in the Hunter exam arc, there is a point where Gon takes Hisoka's badge, the thing he needs to do to pass that phase of the exam, but he is knocked out by somebody else, and Hisoka stands over Gon, and is like, all right, I'm going to let you keep this because I have enough badges from other people I've ganked to pass, and I want you to pass. But Gon's like, no, I cannot accept this. And Hisoka's like, too bad, knockout punches him and gives him the badge number. And then Gon is like, I will give this back. And like, essentially Gon commits to giving the badge back to Hisoka whenever he's strong enough to land a blow on him, or that's the agreement they make before
Right.
Hisoka knocks him out, because Gon's stubborn and is, will not yield on anything.
Yeah, if he can't
It's a
do it
problem
himself,
he has.
then he's not gonna do it at all.
I mean, that's
it's-
actually how the Hunter exam arc ends. Is like the guy forfeits because otherwise he'll end up killing Gon because he's so much because he has access to Nen is what we end up learning. But like he's such a higher power level than
he didn't
Gon
have
that
Nen yet. Actually,
the
Hanzo, he doesn't have Nen.
Oh,
okay. Well, the way that it's framed is that because he's that's
he's
very
saying it's-
strange.
Well, what it is
Because-
that he's like a fully developed adult with all these ninja powers. And
So
Gon is just...
that further that makes that backs up my point, which is that Nen didn't exist yet. But you were like, "Oh, Nen actually existed."
no,
and then
no,
you're like,
no,
"Well, the
I
guy
s-
didn't have Nen yet."
No,
No one had Nen.
Oh,
To
Lord.
be fair, I had just said that the earliest point that you could argue was when they said the true chess has only begun, but that could mean anything. It was not
Right, and
to say that Nen had existed for 2 arcs before they brought it up in Tower of Heaven. But
so Hanzo quits. He intentionally
he quits
forfeits.
and makes sure that everyone's like, no matter what Gon says, despite the fact that we did not have a fair fight here, do not let him hand over his hunter's license back. He earned it. I'm tired. I'll get mine in the next fight.
And then they have to knock Gon out to prevent him. Like he's already knocked out, but when he wakes up, he's like, no, and they have to knock him out again. And I think he wakes up in the
he
hospital.
does not. He doesn't get knocked out again. It's just the mustache man is just there to forcibly kind of explain no, you earned this. You are a hunter. You are a hunter now. You cannot take this back. I will not take this from
and
you.
it's a really interesting arc because you can very see the parallels, the mirrors between Hisoka and Gon, which is what makes them such good foils for each other. But it's also very interesting because Hisoka is not the traditional shonen villain, where because Hisoka's goals are not to rule the world or destroy the world or kill everyone.
It's good
it is
fights.
Yeah.
It's Goku.
to make an opponent worthy of killing. That is Hisoka's ultimate goal, is to make someone who is a high enough level that I will feel something killing
Which I
them.
love villains like
And,
that so much. I love that drive.
And so that's why Hisoka, on several occasions, teams up with the heroes, because it does not serve his purpose if Gon dies.
I also in the Hunter exam arc, there is a point where Hisoka has just killed 7 people because they wanted to try to gang up on him and remove him from the equation of the Hunter exam arc. And Leorio and Kurapika witness this. And they witness it and oh fuck, we gotta bounce. And they leave in opposite directions, but Leorio comes back. And it's you know what? I just can't ignore this. We're going to fight despite how ill-advised it is. And Hisoka specifically spares him because he sees a potential worth nurturing in Leorio and allows Gon's friend to live because of it.
And that's why he's grooming Gon. And that's why he's leaving Killua alive, because Killua also has potential. Not as much as Gon, but it's there.
Yeah.
And also Hisoka recognizes that Gon can only get far enough to be a worthy opponent if he has his friends currently. And the thing about Hunter x Hunter is that had it been able to continue, had the mangaka not gotten sick, and had we had 10 more years of manga, there is a very real chance that Hisoka would have eventually killed Leorio or Kurapika, because eventually Gon will have outgrown his friends. and Hisoka will not only see them as a hindrance to Gon's further progress to become his ultimate rival, but also recognize that especially after, witnessing the end of the Chimera Ant arc, everyone knows what happened with Gon, or if he, eventually Hisoka would have found out and realized that the best way to get Gon to, go Super Saiyan and become a Joestar is to kill one of his close friends.
Yeah.
So, it's oh man, Leorio is holding Gon back, and Leorio hasn't advanced in his fighting ability at all, so whatever potential I saw in him is gone. And if I kill him, Gon goes Super Saiyan. Sorry, Leorio.
Yeah, I could absolutely see something like that happening 100%. Totally.
And that's when Hisoka, ascends into his true place as, the ultimate antagonist of this show, where he always was, but, and it's yes, now Gon has to become good enough to beat him, which he's not.
No.
That's the thing. Gon is the specialist, goodest boy. If he were to fight Hisoka one-on-one, no hold bar, Hisoka would kill him almost instantly.
Yeah. You can't go up against somebody like that and be the way that Gon is. It's not gonna work. You're gonna die. Yeah, no, that would have been dope.
I'm not sure where, because of radiation poisoning.
It's interesting because it's unclear whether or not Hisoka is stronger than the leader of the Hunter Association. I think it's
another person he wants to find out and fight.
Yeah, it would be they would at least be comparable. And the head of the Hunter Association might have been stronger, but he's gone now.
Yeah,
essentially, and he's not gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
I
think based on his Nen power, I think the Hunter Association leader is stronger. He has the I thank and pray to the aspect of to the concept of martial arts, and then through the act of devotion and love for the medium, I have developed this Nen ability.
Just to put it into perspective, how powerful Hisoka is, there are two fights that Hisoka has gotten into where anyone else that would have fought this user probably would have died. If Gon had fought this person, they would have died. And one of them is during the Heaven's Tower arc. And Hisoka is so far above this person's level that he cuts his own arms off, or allows his arms to get cut off just to fuck with the guy mentally, to make it look like his arms grow back and that he's that much stronger than him.
He also does the whole Joseph Joestar thing where he's I claim by the end of this you'll dance to death. And it's because he's throwing he has set up a series of bungee gums that has his cards hitting his body at such intervals that it looks like he's dancing, and then the final one pierces his skull and he dies.
Yeah. And it's and then he has to get his friend who's super good at surgery to fix his arms.
Yep.
He just
Neck
did
stitches.
He didn't have to do that. He could have just killed him, but he specifically did this thing that could have permanently disabled him.
Oh god,
to fuck with a guy.
The math equation. Y'all remember the math equation, the one
But it's very similar to what Gon did, you talked about earlier, where Gon was unwilling to compromise his morals and let his arm get blown off just to punch a guy to death. God. The guy didn't die, but beat the guy with punching.
I just want this to be done. I can't go back.
I can understand that.
All right, I think we'll end this here. So thank you all so much for listening. This has been your Alledutational anime podcast, Anime Homeschool Window Seat, and we've been your hosts. And join us next week where our episode is, as always, going to be Why Goku Sucks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yeah.